So yeah, I'm a master plumber and I manage a service plumbing business. I also like to tinker on like a home lab and self-hosted type thing. So that kind of got me into tinkering with Claude, and I wanted to bring it into the plumbing business and see what it could do for us there and how it could help us on our day-to-day operations. Claude Code actually helps us a lot with SEO and the website quite a bit. It's raised our web ranking up pretty substantially.
Are there other plumbers or people you talk to in the trade using AI, or what is it when you talk to the other guys in the trade?
Other than just ChatGPT on their phone, I don't think many of them realize that it actually does things.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I've spent the last decade building software for the trades.
I'm talking HVAC, plumbing, electrical, landscaping, and every home service business in between.
For my entire career, building software for the trades meant waiting for Silicon Valley to notice you.
But that wait is over.
Founders on the trades are building their own tools now, and they're doing it better than any outsider could. This show is where I spotlight them. Welcome to Blue Collar Builders. Let's get into it.
All right, Josh, I appreciate you joining me today. Josh is a master plumber at Plumber. Is that correct? That's the name of the company?
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
awesome.
sir.
And your journey from kind of the master on the plumbing side, so now it sounds like you've kind of mastered AI. It was really interesting. I'd love to kind of dive into that. But before we begin, can you just give some background on the company you work at and just like how I'd love for people to understand how you become a master in plumbing as well. So take us through that journey, and then we'll get into the AI stuff.
So yeah, I'm a master plumber and I manage a service plumbing business. I also like to tinker on like a home lab and self-hosted type thing. So that kind of got me into tinkering with Claude and realizing how good Claude was. So I wanted to bring it into the plumbing business and see what use it could do for us there and how it could help us on our day-to-day operations.
Yeah, before we get into the AI side, just tell us, how do you, I just want to make sure people understand, because becoming a master plumber like is not easy. So like, what is the process that you take to, on the trade side, get there and get that certification?
Gotcha. So for 2 years, you've got to be under a master plumber working for them before you can be allowed to go and take your journeyman's test. And once you pass and get your journeyman's test, you have to carry it for 2 more years. And then you're allowed to test for your master's. Well, there's two masters. You got master's unrestricted and restricted. But you can take either one. And once you carry the journeyman's and pass that for 2 years, you can be the master.
Yeah, and it's, I know you don't really have a background in any engineering or software engineering, but there's an interesting parallel between like, most people will just stay a journeyman or just kind of not go that extra level and be curious or want to improve their skills to go all the way to master level. And I think that ability and intellectual curiosity and wanting to better yourself all the way, whether it's being a master of plumbing or a master of flooring or a master of AI, I feel like it's just the same mindset, right? It's like you want to get better. And I assume that's kind of what drove you to be kind of go the master's route in the first place.
Right. Yeah. I like to get all the certifications I can, there's a few more in plumbing that are related to, but early on I was like, yeah, I'm going to go get my master's. I don't want to be, working for somebody forever. So
I think you said you started on Grok. Talk to me about, you started with Grok, maybe it wasn't working so well, then you switched to Claude and you started building an agent for your company. Walk me through like your journey of now getting your master's in AI.
So yeah, I started when I was doing the home lab. I did a lot with Grok, with just kind of telling Grok what I had going on, asking it for commands because I didn't know all these commands and complicated flows. So Grok helped me out a lot there, but it was a bit of a struggle because it was wrong a lot. Grok didn't have all the context that I needed it to have.
Yep. And when was this? Like a year ago or how long ago?
About 2 years ago. Yeah.
So
About
you were an early adopter.
It was a slow process, from 2 years. I'd probably say maybe about a year ago, I probably really started using Claude.
Yeah.
When I started using Claude, it was a complete difference. Everything accelerated. My home lab was up and running nice and well. No issues.
Yeah. And are there other plumbers or people you talk to in the trade using like AI, or do they all think you're just like speaking a different language? Like, what is it when you talk to the other guys in the trade about what you're doing?
They don't hardly know what it is, it seems like, for the most part, other than just like ChatGPT on their phone. I don't think many of them can realize that it actually does things
Yep.
now.
Okay, so then you decided you wanted to build an agent for your company. Talk to me about the current software you're on. Please don't name the software and why you decided you needed an agent that I guess you built for you to use, and let's kind of dig into some of that.
Yeah, so the software we use, it has API access where I could connect an agent to it, but the controls on it weren't very granular. It was a pretty much all or nothing kind of connection. I talked with Claude and we came up with an idea to make a proxy that would strip, delete, and send
Quality.
commands from the agent. And I felt better about connecting my agent to it personally, so I could start experimenting with ways how it could help the company.
And I think are you doing anything with SEO or websites, or like how else are you using it from like a lead?
Yeah, Claude Code actually helps us a lot with SEO and the website uh, quite a bit, and it's raised our web ranking up pretty substantially.
You also you mentioned something that said I've been taught, or like I talked with Claude. Like, do you have prompts that you do? You have like a list of prompts you really like to use, or are you just like constantly talking to Claude and like?
I was just talking. I don't really use prompts too much. I, I use the skills. I like the skills where they just kind of come out naturally in conversation rather than having
Yeah.
to slash commands and stuff like that. Just kind of my preference at this point.
You built this agent for yourself. I think you told me that it's like super powerful, but you don't necessarily want your employees to use it because of some concerns. Just talking about that, like, are the concerns that they could just like delete things? Is there like data concerns? Like, what are the concerns you have letting expand? Because you were telling me the agent works so well for you. I think you can send quotes, right, and some other things with the agent.
Right. Well, not send. I don't do any deleting or sending with my agent. But there's still some finickiness that it could wind up doing. They could create, I don't know, a ton of quotes or a ton of invoices that just makes it a nightmare to have to clean up later.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of kinks that kind of need to be worked out before it gets let loose with any other employees, especially. But I'm having really good success with it with, for, yeah, writing quotes, going over invoices, reviewing them, finding old data, like an old job. Like I've described a picture of a job site, and it was able to go in and find it. Uh,
Walk me through that example.
so we've got like some pictures attached to job sites, and it was about a septic job, I think, and it was able to go through the jobs. I had a time frame that I thought it was in, and I was like, "Hey, look through this time frame and see if you can find this particular septic job," and it was able to do it.
Wow. And before that, you would have just had to scroll through all the jobs and try to essentially find it.
Right, right. Because for that particular client, we had, there's probably 60 different properties for that client. I wasn't sure which property it was, but I remember the area, so that was enough for the agent to be able to figure it out.
How do you describe like I don't wouldn't know how to describe a job. Like, how would you describe the job? Just I'm just curious, like what language you're putting in there.
So it was a grease trap installation that we did, and there's not too many of those, especially in the time frame. So it was able to find a picture of the grease trap being set into the ground.
Okay, so if you were to look at like all of the master plumbers you know, do you think more or less than 5% of them are using AI the right way, not just like searching, but like using it to automate?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know any of them.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have like I talked to a lot of people in the trade, and I think there's a fear of getting started. Like, do you have advice for those folks on like how to get started? Because you obviously had to get started like from zero as well.
Yeah, really just download it, and like I said, just talk to it. Like you don't need to know anything special. Just talk to it however you talk. Yell at it a little bit if you need to. Don't care,
Yeah.
but just try it.
Could you
Uh,
imagine life without it at this point?
yeah, yeah. I remember back then. I spent a lot of time on it now, uh, but man, it sure makes things easier. My daily kind of workflow from, like I said, doing like payroll to
Oh, so you're using it for payroll as well?
not entire payroll, but a portion of it. We've got some commission technicians, so I have to manually make pay sheets for them,
Yeah.
and I've got it set. I can say, hey, go make all the pay sheets, go check it out, make sure they're all good. Let me know if there's any issues. It'll flag it and create all the pay sheets, upload them to my OneDrive. I just review everyone and good to go.
That's incredible. You were concerned about some of the like data leakage or privacy, and then not only did you end up building your own agent, you realized that this was a problem for you and probably other people in the trade. So you started building an open source tool. Talk
Yeah.
about the open source tool you built as well.
So yeah, I started realizing, I was like, well, all it would take is like the agent reading one bad email, and then all my secrets and API keys and whatever else could be in the hands of a bad actor. That's simple, and I wouldn't even have a clue. And I was like, how are people dealing with this? Like, this doesn't sound good. There's got to be a solution, right? I couldn't find one, whether it was a paid one, an open source one. So I came up with the idea, talking with Claude, I came up with an idea of how to protect things like that from prompt injections. And I ran it by a buddy, and he was like, man, it sounds like a plausible idea. So I was like, all right, I hit enter on Claude, and they started going.
Yeah, that's how you just got to get started. You just got to get started asking Claude, and you can kind of make your way there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because your exact use case is why we kind of built Dalton Mills, because our belief is like you have the expertise in plumbing or running a plumbing business. What you actually want these tools to do is you want a workflow, you want an agent, you want a button here, you want the quote to look like this, you want the commissions to do this. But the problem is a lot of the current softwares like aren't malleable. So you have the domain expertise. The current problem, I view, in the harnesses in AI today is if you want that stuff, you then have to go rebuild everything. You have to go rebuild the CRM, rebuild the quoting tool, rebuild the architecture. And like you said, that becomes a security risk or a data risk or all of that stuff. We're building kind of that harness to help protect all of that, which I think will be really good for your use case because you have more domain knowledge than anyone. But today you're having to get into like infrastructure and security and all of that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different rabbit hole than plumbing,
A little bit.
but I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's incredible, man. It's you should be super proud of yourself that you've even gotten to this point. What is like your biggest, before we kind of end this call, when was your wow moment in AI? Like you used it and you were like, oh man, this is the future. Like what got you addicted or when you saw the light?
I got a paying customer for PipeLock, so that kind of helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just really writing quality code. I was submitting PRs to popular open source projects and stuff, and they were getting accepted. I've got a friend that does coding, and he never had a problem with anything I was doing. I was like, I've got to be doing something right. So that's when I decided. I was like, well, maybe I can actually build something that works for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you have is the harder part, which is the domain expertise and the workflow expertise. The easy part at this point is the output of the code, but not every expertise you have.
I'd say the ideas are the harder part now. Is like once you have the idea, implementing it, it's pretty easy now at this point. I probably spend more time planning than I actually do, getting the code out.
It's funny, which is what you should be doing. Like, there's so many parallels between like the plumbing jobs and like AI, which sounds like crazy, but like just like you become a master's and you learn it takes years, same with AI. Just like you should spend a lot of time planning the job and plumbing and thinking about it. If you want to do it right,
Yeah.
do an AI. There's like a lot of similarities that I think people just like glance over, but the workflow and the mindset is the same. And at the end of the day, you have all the domain expertise, and that's what's really important here.
Yeah, it's like during the day I manage guys, and then in the evening I manage cloud agents.
That's funny, man. Well, that's incredible. Well, I really appreciate you sharing the story, and I'm looking forward to following your progress.
All right, man. Thank you for having me.